Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. So I'm reading today for Libra energy and I'm reading ahead for October. So happy birthday to my Libras out there. It is Libra season, I think, starting now. So yeah, happy birthday Libras. I hope you're all having a wonderful time. Your reading doesn't seem like a party reading. I hope you're gonna have nice birthdays. I hope you're gonna have a good month. But yeah, it's there's something going on. There's definitely something going on. I feel like you need more information. There's this whole thing that keeps coming through about um, the truth, which Libra, I associate your sign with the truth being like the Queen of Swords, the Justice card, right? It's like the whole truth, nothing but the truth. You can't handle the truth. Libra can handle the truth, but a lot of people can't handle Libra's truth. Being a truth speaker, right? Being somebody who, I understand I've got Mercury in Libra, so I do see myself as normally saying things as it is. Maybe I can talk myself in circles, maybe I can sometimes confuse people because Libra is sort of an energy that can see every side of the story. Libra looks at things from multiple different angles, a bit like a judge would or a court system would, if you want to, again, bring in the association of like the Justice card. Yeah, so it sometimes confuses people because it's kind of like you can argue both sides of an argument, a bit like Gemini, right? So it's kind of, somebody might say one thing one day and you might be making a very strong argument for a certain point of view, and then somebody may say something a different day and you might argue the opposite point of view, and people are kind of left confused about where you stand on certain features, like where you stand on certain matters. Features, I don't know, I said features, like that could be significant in some sort of way. But it's like yeah, it might be quite hard for people who want to kind of like clarify what your opinions are, or there's this clarifying energy, right? Again, it's so funny because I say that I associate Libra energy with the diamond because you might remember like those old readings. Like, this isn't a diamond, obviously, it's a crystal, but crystals and diamonds, because you're multifaceted. You can look at a topic from multiple different points of view, and you can see kind of like quite clearly right through a situation, right? You can see, you're quite good at seeing the bigger picture and seeing what's going on, kind of like Aquarius and Gemini. All the air signs are particularly good at this. So again, there's this, I don't know if you're almost holding back, like holding back your words or not speaking about something, which may be quite strange because people might be like, normally I can't shut Libra up. Like, why is Libra suddenly gone quiet? I'm almost getting like a situation where the Four of Swords isn't on the table, but I did see it kind of in the pre-shuffle, where it's almost like you're kind of blocking someone. You've got the song Telephone by Lady Gaga, and she's like, stop calling me. Like, so I'm wondering, because I saw the Two of Swords around this time, if you're kind of like blocking someone's number, or you just kind of not answering someone's messages, not answering someone's calls. And it's kind of, what do people say, like, you left them on read? Is that a phrase? It's not a phrase I use, which is why I'm struggling to get it correct, because it's something that I just heard intuitively. You left them on read, you left them on read. It's not, maybe that's something that somebody says. I don't say that. I don't really understand the phrase, but it's kind of like yeah, you're leaving someone hanging almost, which is funny because you have got the hangman there, which I was reading as you seeing something from a different perspective, but I think you're leaving someone hanging, right? Or you're hanging up on someone. Um, yeah, this thing about not speaking, or I want to say Libra is a very, very true energy, a very honest energy. Now, it does depend on all your placements. I'm getting Scorpio heavily. So if you're Libra Scorpio cusp, or you've got strong Scorpio in your chart, you may be a little bit more secretive. It's not coming through. If it's you, the Libra watching this, right? Or the person watching this for your own placements, so not cross-watcher. I would say that the probability is that you're quite honest, but you could definitely omit things when you're speaking the truth. So it's kind of like, it's not the whole truth, right? It's a partial truth, or not even like a little white lie. It's not even, this is what I mean. It's kind of like, again, I have Mercury Libra, so I don't like to lie. I can't lie. I'm like, they're showing me Jim Carrey, liar, liar. He's like, I can't lie. lie. That's why I'm like, if people tell me a secret, it's like, don't expect me to like lie. I'm just gonna have to kind of be vague and like wishy-washy and kind of like wander off mid-conversation because I can't outright lie, right? So I don't know if somebody's coming to you like, Libra, what's the truth? Or like, Libra, just spit it out, and you're kind of being a bit guarded. The reason why I'm saying this is because you've got a false person here. Now, again, I don't think you're false, right? I think if you're not saying something, there's probably a reason for it. So again, it could just be, you could be trying to protect somebody else, right? Or, you know, thinking, I'll let people fight their own battles. I don't want to get involved. You know, if people are coming to you for like gossip and like stirring the pot, you might just be kind of like, I don't know anything about it. Don't ask me, you know, kind of thing. Like, I'm keeping out of it. Go and speak to this somebody else. You know, it could be that sort of thing. Again, I don't think you're being intentionally deceptive. It's more that because she's covering her mouth and because you've actually got the Queen of Swords here and she's kind of, her sword's down. Now, it's important, let me just show you for comparison the King of Swords here, right behind the Queen of Swords, which I'll talk about in a minute. So the Queen of Swords with the sword down, if the sword is down in tarot, a lot of people read it this way, I read it this way, it means there's no communication. If the sword is raised in tarot, a lot of the time it means that there is communication. Okay, something else is coming in with this. So I'm just going to kind of hold off on that for a second. I'm going to kind of segue into it. So with this being your card, Libra, the Queen of Swords, and because her sword is down, again, and because her mouth is covered, I want to say you know the truth, you have a truth, but you're not necessarily sharing the truth. It's like you're being strategic about what you say and who you say it to, is the way it's coming through. It's a little bit guarded, right? Because I want to say you need more information. So it's almost like if somebody's coming to you for information, like they want more information from you, you're wanting more information from them first, right? So it's almost like, for example, really random example, say you get a phone call and they're like, hi, it's your bank, can you confirm a few details for me? And you're like, yes, I'm going to ring you back, right? And then because, you know, sometimes people scam you, like they ring you trying to pretend they're your bank, trying to get information out of you. And so if you say, yes, I'm going to ring you back, and you ring them back on one of their official lines and say, are you trying to get a hold of me? And they say, yes, you know, then you can answer the questions. But if you ring the bank, like on an official, like Google the actual bank phone numbers, right? Don't click the phone number in the email or anything like that. Don't be silly. But it's kind of like if you ring the official numbers and say, hey, are you trying to get hold of me? And they say no, then you can go, oh, okay, I got this phone call, and they can investigate it. So if you're getting phone calls, again, because you're getting a lot of stuff about telephones, if this is a mobile, a lot of the time the data's just readily available. You know, you can kind of check the time of the call, you can check the phone number. Obviously, if a phone number's blocked, a lot of people don't answer it, and a lot of the time now your mobile will come up and it'll say spam call, you know, suspected spam call, like, do you really want to answer this? Which is brilliant. I love the advancements in security in that way. But like, thinking about the old days of like house phones, I have a house phone, I don't really use it, I'm not quite sure if it's even turned on at this point, but you know, like I used to have this at an old workplace. I used to work in a young woman's fashion store, and we from time to time would get this man ringing up, and he'd ask us kind of, at first he'd ask us about products, right? He'd be like asking us if we've got skirts, and then he'd start to say, well, how short are they? And he was clearly kind of getting off on the phone call, basically. But it sometimes take you a minute to realise. So when you got these phone calls, basically we spoke to the phone company about it, and they said, okay, what we need you to do is start logging the phone calls. So log the time, log the date, give us a call and let us know, and we can track it and we can investigate and we can find out like where these phone calls are coming from. So again, little tip there, just in case, because you're getting telephone a lot, just you know, some tips there kind of about like security and investigating things like that. It's tying into somebody else's reading. Somebody else had this thing about passwords and security. I can't remember which sign it was now, unfortunately. But you feel like you're investigating. This is the funny thing. So Capricorn and Leo, maybe it was Leo's reading. Capricorn and Leo have had this thing going on where in the last set of readings, Capricorn was like, if I say something, right, if I suspect someone of something and I mention it kind of vaguely to the Libra, the way Libra's mind is going to work is like they're going to go like full like Magnum PI on this, and they're going to like dive deep into it, and they're going to investigate it thoroughly. It's almost like Capricorn had a friend that had that kind of I call it like the diamond mind, right? The ability to kind of like have like a laser focused kind of perceptive mind. So again, air sign placements strongly, where it's kind of almost like a dog with a bone. It's like, I can't leave this alone. If something triggers my suspicion, so again, it could be somebody with strong Scorpio placements, because Scorpio is the private detective of the zodiac to me, or like Pluto. So it's like somebody whose mind would be like, you know, like, I can't let this go, like there's something wrong here, there's something, it's almost like uncanny, right? It's like something that doesn't add up. This is Libra. So Libra's mind, being logic based, is like something doesn't add up here. Scorpio is like, my intuition says something's off, my subconscious, like my spidey sense is tingling. Libra's spider sense comes from logic. So Libra's like, hang on, you're trying to tell me that 1 and 1 equals 3, the math doesn't check out. I need to investigate this further. I need to investigate why that's 1 on that side, why that's 1 on that side, and why the answer's 3. Like, I'm good. So Libra is kind of like, let me just tear this apart and look at it piece by piece. This is how the Libra mind works, or air sign minds work. So yeah, you feel like you're getting more information with that Page of Swords, right? And his sword is down. There's not speaking here. You're intriguing, and again, you keep getting these references to the truth. I'm going to come back to the other thing. It's something about art. Yeah, let me talk about the art thing before I forget about it. So the first thing that I got for you, Libra, was that I needed to clean. It was like, I'm getting patted on the back again as I say this. It was like I suddenly got, my uncle and my dad came into the reading before I'd even pulled cards, and it's like, when I pulled cards, they're here. And I'm like, oh hi. So I just got like, I'm getting a lot of kind of ancestral stuff, a lot of kind of family stuff. So you know, I found something from my mum with you know, her parents and her siblings' birthdays on, and now I know a lot of my auntie and uncle's star signs, my grandma's star sign, which I didn't know before, and things like this. So there's all this ancestral stuff coming through for you. So definitely you might want to talk to like aunties and uncles. It's coming through as like older family, so not necessarily like brothers and siblings. It's coming through like parents, grandparents, aunties, uncles, like older generation. Something about that. Definitely as well, because you've got like the laurel tree with the soil. Trees always talk about personal growth and ancestry to me, like DNA. I'm just trying to focus on this art. So what I was trying to say, you know, before when I was talking about the sword, right? If the sword's down, there's no communication. If the sword is up, there is communication, or action as well. It's like there's no action. It's like prepared for action. Where the sword is up, it's like taking action. It's making me think of horse sculptures. So in the UK, I don't know if it's like a global thing. Maybe like America does this as well. I know it's a UK thing. So if there's like say it's like a war memorial, and it has like a horse on it, or a horse and rider, I believe suddenly the traffic's gone really noisy. I believe if the horse is rearing up on its hind legs, if it's kind of like going, you know, like whoa, if it's kind of like pulling up and it's on its back 2 legs and its front legs are raised, I don't know why I over explained that, guys, I'm sorry. It means, I think, that the horse died in battle, or the rider died in battle. Where if the horse has all 4 feet on the ground, the horse or the rider kind of like died at home, right, in peacetime. So we do have a horse and rider here. It's this knight. So with this horse having all its feet on the ground, it would mean that this perhaps was like a war hero, but they returned home. They, you know, led a peaceful life. They died kind of old age, but they were a war hero. Oh my god, I can't spit my words out. So it could be that you have somebody in your heritage who was a decorated hero. Okay, this is interesting as well. Thief underneath that. Oh, okay. So this is making me think then, again, I've got a lot of Libra in my chart. I'm definitely resonating with this reading. So I'm going to talk about a little bit of my personal experience because I think it's going to help me explain to you the message that's trying to come through, right? It's kind of like relatable, hopefully. So I do have a person in my father's side of the family who was a decorated uh, military person, and they had quite a unique military uniform, which was actually donated to a museum and displayed in a museum for quite a long time. Unfortunately, the museum has lost it. We don't know where it's gone. The museum's like, I don't know. So that's great. But yeah, so this might be sort of like war medals, this sort of thing. Interestingly, with thief, you've got thief, marriage, despair, and sudden wealth, and privileged lady, and great fortune. Yeah, and judication. There could be something where perhaps this could be a situation where perhaps medals or something about this. It feels like a decorated person, or with official person it could even be somebody who is like notable in politics or something like this. So it does feel like something that's an heirloom piece could have been taken from somebody, or somebody stole something from an official person. So it could even be kind of like the chief of police, like somebody stole something from the chief of police and the chief of police was like, oh hey, you're you know, maybe you shouldn't have done that because maybe I've got, you know, the chief of police talking about taking precaution. And you've got Sybil here as well with foresight. It's almost like thinking ahead, right? Thinking 5 steps ahead. That's why this is here. I didn't know if this was a personal message or if this was for you. The chess game. So it's like thinking several steps ahead, right? Being 2 steps in front of the thieves. I like it. So it's coming through with like, for example, the chief of police, they're going to know all the latest detective things, right? They're going to know, you know, how to protect their items. So you know how people, when they've got a computer, they use that invisible ink to kind of like write the name and address on the computer. So if it's ever stolen and recovered, the police can kind of use ultraviolet light and see who it should belong to. So it's something like that. It's something like somebody's stolen from the wrong person, basically, is the way it's coming through, because somebody's steps ahead. So I don't know if you're going to have a situation where, because it's looking to me like with this letter and the official person and false person and page of swords, it's, what was I channeling? Sorry, I've got my notes. It was like, tell me now and tell me true, is what I heard. Tell me now and tell me true. So it's almost like it's looking like a witness statement, which is funny because someone else had witness statement. Somebody else had witness statement, and it could have been Aries, and it was like, it was unbearable, right? It's like reading the details of the witness statement was unbearable that anyone could be that cruel. So I wonder if it's connected in some sort of way. It doesn't have to be. Sorry, I'm a little bit all over the place, but this is how the messages come through. So it can sometimes be hard to organize, especially when messages are coming through sort of as I'm speaking, which is often the case. It's kind of like when I get on a roll, the intuition opens up and like the words start flowing. And sometimes my guides can kind of like trick me into saying things that I'm not aware I'm saying, which I hate when that happens. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is, the first thing that I had was this idea of like cleaning my space. I did actually start to move a few things around from kind of like my, just my ancestors, you know, little knickknacks. I've got my dad's glasses here. I've got a little coin from my childhood. I've got a literal piece of cheap blanket fabric that my mum, when she went completely doolally at the end of her life, decided that she wanted to make me an ashtray, and she cut a piece of fabric off her blanket that she was using to keep warm, and that was the ashtray. It didn't make any sense, but I've kept it because it was the intention behind it was sweet, right? So all these little knickknacks that I have hanging around, kind of thing, I was kind of like tidying up, and I was getting kind of like keepsakes and more memento mori. I want to say it's called. It's kind of like memories of people who've passed over. I want to say you are very, very connected at this time to people who have passed over. I did feel like the funny thing, like I say, I was cleaning up and I kept on finding coins. So the original coin that kind of like leapt off the shelf at me was this 2 pence. And it's funny because the song that played after this was Two Princes. And I thought it's funny because it's like, you know, the feathers, I think it's symbolic of like the prince. I think this is the Prince of Wales. I think that's the symbology of this crown with the feathers, is like it's the Prince of Wales. And then with there being two, the song was Two Princes by the Spin Doctors. And even spin doctors, right? If somebody's a spin doctor, they're kind of like manipulating the truth, they're lying, they're putting their own spin on things. So there's a lot of synchronicity with the stuff that's happening. So I do sort of feel like my ancestors were around me. It's kind of like they were putting things in my path, right? They were putting it's kind of like when you go around and you find feathers, right? It's kind of like I mentioned in one of my readings to somebody, if you're walking, for example, or you're going down a route or going down a path, it could even be like making a choice, and you see a lot of feathers as though something's been attacked. You know, sometimes like if a cat gets hold of a pigeon and there's like feathers everywhere because it's been this like fluster. It's like if you see that, if you see feathers like there's been an attack on a bird, like don't go that way. And then the strange thing is, I was walking to work and this happened. I was debating which path to take. There was like two choices of which route I could go. And I went to go down one route and I saw the feathers everywhere. And I was like, oh my God, I've just said that in somebody else's reading. So I changed my route, right? I went the other way. And as soon as I changed my route and started to go the other way, I started to see white feathers in my path. It was almost like the white feathers were like breadcrumbs leading me. And white normally symbolizes like positive or good things. So if I see like white feathers leading me somewhere, like one at a time, that's kind of like my guides leading me in that direction and approving of that direction. Where like the feathers that kind of were in a big pile, like something had been attacked, that was like a warning. So you don't have to read things the same way. I would say develop your own system with your own passed over ancestors, your own loved ones, your own spirit guides, your own higher self, and you know, figure out your own symbology and meaning. There is something to this, especially with this Sybil, right? Full sight and Sybil. I want to say you're carrying this kind of like almost high priestess energy. I want to say that you are aware of the spirits around you and you're learning to interpret the signs very, very well. There's definitely something to this. Again, I'm working towards something here. So I changed my path and I was walking down this second route that I wasn't originally going to take. And it's like I got rewarded. And I don't think there was any danger on the first route. I think it was just my guides sort of showing me an example of what I'd been talking about in my reading. And really just confirming for me that was the correct message to pass to someone. So I was walking down this alternative route to work and I came across two friendly cats. So I got to stop and stroke two friendly cats on my way to work. And it was like, okay, day's off to a good start. And I wouldn't have been able to say hello to those cats had I gone the other way. So it's like a little silly thing, right? But I think you probably get what I'm saying. So again, this idea of kind of like, if there could be something that your guides are putting in your path, or like they're trying to get your attention with. So you know, sometimes like in ghost hunting TV shows, I don't like the phrase ghost hunting. Like, why are you hunting them? Like they're people who've like passed over. They're trying to like have peace, and like you're hunting them. It just feels aggressive to me. I'm like, I'd be like ghost chatting, right? I'd be like ghost hanging out and like ghost Netflix and chill, right? That would be my channel. So like so where was I going with this? It's like, I know I'm insane, guys. Like, I know I sound insane, but I do think I carry this civil energy. So yeah, develop your own thing. So it's, you know how in ghost hunting shows they kind of like throw stones? It's kind of like, who threw that stone? Who threw that thing? It's kind of like I was almost getting thrown coins in my path. And so like there was a couple of different ones. I've just kept two of them to kind of like show you again with the kind of symbology there. Yeah, just again, not worth very much. Like, what can you buy with the 2 pence and 5 pence anymore? Can I even get penny sweets anymore? I don't know. But it did feel like, it actually felt like my dad. He's always telling me to like, he's always wanting me to earn more money, but then he's never happy with anything that I do. Kind of like I was working 6 days a week at one point, and he was still not happy. I was like, right, I'm done pleasing you now. But I did get the sense of like my dad was kind of like around. And as I say, this person was on my father's side of the family. And then I got this urge to kind of like I say, I was cleaning my space. And my dad always used to go on at me about kind of like cleaning. And I was like, cleaning makes me depressed. You know, some people enjoy cleaning. It makes me miserable. Like, I do what I have to do, but I'm not going to spend my life cleaning because that's not how I want to live my life, right? I've got other things, more interesting things to do, right? I'm not like, I know I'm named Cinderella, but like, I don't want that life for myself, right? I want to choose to do other things. I want to choose to engage with things that make me feel alive and passionate and happy. I don't want to be depressed my whole life because my life is cleaning up, which again, different strokes for different folks. I'm not kind of judging anyone, just personally me. I tend to tidy when I'm already depressed and miserable because I'm like, well, I'm already here, I might as well do something useful. Oh, that is funny. That's like an old plane. Can you hear it? It's like one of those old kind of planes that my dad was taking pilot. Like, my dad is all over the place, guys. So I know I'm talking about my dad as a Libra, but this is what I'm saying. This is resonating so strongly with me. So I do feel like you could have people on the other side. Like, look, I want to say you could feel very alone, or you could be in a phase where, you're facing some difficult things, but it's like you've got these spirits who've got your back, because you've got the King of Water, which is... He's like the king of love, right? He's the king of unconditional love. So this might remind you of somebody. Kind of does look very similar to my dad. Kind of reminds me as well of my granddad. So yeah, you've got this kind of... It's like a protective spirit around you. I just love his expression as well. He's like so gentle looking. Like, he's got kind, not like kind eyes. And then he's like got this little fish. And the fish is swimming kind of like right into his hand, right? It's like... I don't know, there's something very gentle about him. He's kind of sticky though. What is that? Maybe he's freeing the fish? I don't know. It's like Spider-Man. And then here as well, with the Queen of Swords, I've been picking up on my dad, and this feels like my dad to me. He was a Leo, but the King of Waters is normally Scorpio. It could be any water sign, anyone with strong water in the chart. My dad was a Leo, but he had a huge amount of Scorpio in his chart. Scorpio Mars, right? So it's like, that's my dad to me. And then... this is you, Libra. It doesn't matter about your gender, right? The Queen of Swords is Libra. And it's like the King of Swords has got your back. So the funny thing is, like, okay, let me tell you about this. And again, it's going to come through for you as well in some sort of way. I realized at one point I'd lost connection with one of my guides who I call... oh, my heart just absolutely flip-flopped in my chest as I'm saying this. Wow. I lost connection with one of my guides that I call Starman. And I associate Starman with my Uncle David. Whether Starman is... a specific person, a specific individual, a specific energy, or it's like a generalization, kind of like how I say Libra's an energy, not an individual. So Starman is an energy, but I do associate it with my Uncle David, who I always thought of as an Aquarius. And I remember saying this to someone and they doubted it. They were like, he wasn't an Aquarius. And I was like, he was. But I found his birthday and I checked and he is Aquarius. He's very close to the Pisces cusp, but Aquarius, is, right? And I associate Starman energy with Aquarius energy because it's this, it's like, it makes me think of David Bowie as well, right? So it's kind of like, he's Capricorn, but I think he's got an Aquarius moon. So it's this kind of like somebody who's really out there, right? Somebody who's really perhaps very quirky, very individual. It's kind of an alien energy to me. I used to sit there and watch X-Files every week with my Uncle David. So it's kind of like, David Duchovny as well. Like, it's like, maybe the name is significant, but it's kind of this... the truth is out there, this truth thing for you. So I was really upset actually when I realized that I hadn't connected with Starman energy for a while. I was like, where's Starman gone? Where's he gone? Why can't I connect with that energy? And I was like, maybe the aliens came and went, right? Maybe, whatever this energy is. I know I've got crazy thoughts, guys. Like, listen, I quite enjoy it. I'm I'm not sorry, right? I like being me. And so it's kind of like, it's interesting. So it's kind of like this energy like came in to connect with me, kind of woke me up to my Sybil gifts and then left. And I was like, did I upset Starman? Did Starman have somewhere else that they needed to be? Where has Starman gone? So I spent the last few days trying to reconnect through meditation to like be like, where is the energy? Let's find the energy. Let's reconnect. Which again, if this is my uncle who's on the other side, you know, I felt him really strongly after he passed. I kept on getting like David Bowie, like I say, his name was David. I kept on getting like David Bowie songs. There was a lot of confirmation that he was around me, and I'm getting patted on the back again as I say this. So I thought maybe he's moved on, right? Maybe he's moved on to the next life, or he's doing something else spiritually. I don't know. And so I think I just knew that Libra was going to get the Starman card again with the foresight, right? With the Sybil energy. So I've done Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo. The Starman card did not come out as far as I can remember. Libra, he's here for you. I knew he was here for Libra, right? So it's like, whoever this is for you, it's obviously not my Uncle David hanging around supporting every single Libra in the world, but it's like, he's got your back, right? He's got your back. And even if you can't speak your truth at the moment, if you're holding back energetically on the other side, whoever this is for you, Starman for you, is doing things like not behind your back, but they've got your back. Like I say, keep getting patted on the back. So you've got this spirit team around you, Libra. And I think you're aware of it. Like, look at the greeny blue colors. It's like you've got these energies working for you in spirit. The death card is here, and it's with the Page of Swords. So it is saying to me, it's something like you are getting more knowledge about death, right? You're getting more knowledge about the afterlife. You're getting more knowledge about the other side, the other realm, right? This is what you're studying energetically at this time. It's not that death is here, right? It's almost like, so it does feel like you're studying, right? You're studying this. You've got a lot of page energy. You've got Page of Swords here, Page of Pentacles here, Page of Wands, Page of Swords. You've got the Six of Cups, which again has kind of like pages on it. Like, pages can be children, and it doesn't have to be children either. It can be it's like an apprentice energy, right? The pages are the students. They're learning, they're gathering information, they're practicing their skills, they're experimenting. So it's you've got this real this student approach to your life and your experience at this time. Again, it could be that these are like literal children around you, because you've got Six of Cups, Page of Wands, Page of Swords. But I think it's something to do with your ability to be a student of life, I think, and death, a student of death, right? You're learning about death. Going back to imagery, especially like iconography in paintings and art. So we've talked about what swords mean in the tarot. We've talked about what the position of horses means in sculpture. When I cleaned my desk, I cleaned my space. It was like I was cleaning out energetically the previous 6 readings. And I've even got like new decks as well. I put all my cards away. I cleansed my own personal deck, and I was like, I cleaned the space and everything, and I kind of like lit a candle. I got fresh water. It's like I'm ready to go, right? The energy is cleansed. We've got it's like a fresh page, a fresh sheet to kind of like really dive into Libra energy with. And I'd been to Manchester Museum recently, and I bought all these postcards of like some of my favorite pieces from their collection, so I got these out. They'd just been sat in like a paper bag, like they'd just been kind of like sat there waiting for me to do something with them, and I kind of got them all out and lined them up. Now this is significant that this is happening during Libra reading, because Libras will by Venus, and where Taurus is also ruled by Venus, but they're much more about earthly pleasures, sort of like food, sex, things that feel physically good. Libra is more mental pleasure. And so this is why the goddess of art, beauty, romance, all these kinds of things, when it connects with Libra energy, Venus and Libra, there is this real appreciation of art, an appreciation of beauty, and an intellectual approach towards that as well, being swords energy. So yeah, I think everybody loves artwork, right? But a lot of people like have their favorites. And so yeah, I've got this beautiful, it's like I made the space Libran, right? I brought this Venus energy into the space. It's kind of like, it's very aesthetically nice to me. I kind of like put some of my more summery kind of like rocks and shells and things like that away, and kind of got like more autumnal kind of decorations out. So you could be redecorating, you could be designing, you could have a real eye for aesthetic things. I'm quite a messy person. I've got a lot of Sagittarius and Gemini in my chart. Like I say, I'm messy. I don't like cleaning, but like I say, I had this urge to kind of like make my space beautiful. It's like I want my space to be beautiful, I just don't want to be the person to do it. So I don't know why I'm talking about this artwork now. It must be significant. Maybe you're going to an art gallery, right? Maybe you're doing something where, or you're buying art to decorate your house, something like this. But so I've got this one, and this is Ira Aldridge as Othello. This is by James Northcote, and it's one of my favorite pieces of art in Manchester Museum. And the reason why is, like, years and years ago when I was studying Shakespeare coincidentally, and I was reading Othello like academically, and I was in this museum and I was kind of going around this exhibit, and kind of at the back of the exhibit, kind of like on a reverse wall, so you kind of like go to the end and kind of like turn and look back on yourself. It was kind of hidden. This guy was like that, like hidden away at the back of this exhibit. He's not hidden now. He kind of he's on a lot of the promotional material. He's got you know, he's been in much better spaces, but in this specific exhibit, he was like, it was like he was behind me, right? I turned and saw it, and I was like, I have to go and look at that painting more closely. I have to read the description, because it was almost shocking in a museum full of art of white people to see a very finely dressed looking black man. It's unusual. There's nothing wrong with it in my opinion, but it is objectively unusual. And I was like, how, I need to know more. I need to know more about this painting. Who is this? Why is this painting here of this man, right? Because it was almost excitement to me as well. I was like, it was pleasurable to see this. I was excited to see this. And so I looked into it, and it is a very successful actor called Ira Aldridge, and he was well known for playing Othello. And it's funny because I was like studying Othello, so this is kind of like how the portrait came into existence, and I just think it's such a wonderful portrait. Again, one of my favorites. And he's there, like, pride of place right in the middle. And then I've got some like pre-Raphaelite style art, sort of. See who we've got here. So I am gonna have to check. Like, this is Astare Syriaca by Rossetti, and again, beautiful. One of my favorite images. I don't know this one. I don't know if I've seen this. Vivian by Frederick Sandys, but I love it. It's kind of like Queen of Pentacles energy with all the peacock feathers. She's got this apple and this like sprig of flowers. So I love that one. Just think it's so, I really like the style of art. And who have we got here? The Bower Meadow by another Rossetti. So you can really see like the beautiful lips on the Rossettis there. So yeah, really, really gorgeous. I've got some naked mythology pictures on the go, so I'm not going to show you because YouTube doesn't like titties, but I've got Hylas and the Nymphs by Waterhouse, which again, one of my favorite paintings. Very controversial. It got taken down for a while and then everybody demanded it go back up. Gorgeous painting. Love paintings of mythology, and I look with the male gaze, I'm not gonna lie. I like a nice pair of titties. And then this beautiful one here as well of Sappho, who was the lesbian poet from Lesbos, from classical Greece, and it's a painting by Charles August Mengen, which again, one of my favorite paintings. So I don't know if that's relevant in any sort of way. It's there. Okay, what else? Sorry, you've got a lot, Libra. You always come in with big energy. Yeah, so back to, oh, there could be something about pages being stuck together. It's funny, like pages stuck together. Could be two children who are inseparable, right? Because the Six of Cups, the two children are here. We'll talk about that when we come to it. But it could be literal pages, like the pages of a book are stuck together. This came through because I was looking at some of my mum's books. She's got like an old Bible and an old kind of diary. And the pages of the diary have come loose from the bindings, and they're kind of stuffed with old newspaper clippings. It must be like how they made the bindings thicker. They just kind of like used old newspapers to kind of like thicken it up. But it could be that there's something hidden. It could be that there's a letter hidden behind a painting. So let me just grab a less nudie painting. Which one am I going to go for? So it's almost like if you've got like a framed painting, and you look at the back, and I'm not suggesting anyone do this themselves, but it could be something you could have, somebody who knows how to look after art kind of investigate this for you. It could be that there's like an envelope in the back of the painting, or if you take the backing off, it could be something. It's like the envelope hidden in the painting, right? And it could even be like something to do with the purchase of the painting, a purchase agreement, and it could be in the back of the painting, or it could be something where it's like a letter that's hidden in the bindings of a book. Definitely something about art and beauty for you. Maybe some of you are students and you're going to go to university or college to kind of study art or beauty. Okay, right, let's get really into this stuff about truth. Okay, so you had the laurel tree, which I've talked about I want to say it was Leo's reading, if you want to go and check that out. But trigger warning, it does mention S, A, and R. The Starman, the soil, and Mercury. Now, it seems to me like there's something in the soil of this tree. The funny thing was as well, I was getting really strongly a song about sycamore trees by Lana Del Rey. She said, I'm not sure which song it is, but it'll be in your description box down below. It might be called Cherry Blossom, but she says, cherry blossom on your sycamore tree, what you don't tell no one, you can tell me. There's something coming through about double negatives, because if it said what you won't tell no one, no, what you will not tell no one, what you do not tell no one. So if you're not telling no one, you're telling someone, right? So it's a double negative. This is what I'm getting from the Mercury card, because the Mercury is the trickster god, right? He's known as the trickster god. He rules Gemini and Virgo. So it's coming through that you've got a lyre around you. They're showing me a lyre, like a literal Greek lyre, like the musical instrument. And there's a bird as well, like the lyre bird. Now they're giving me Liverpool, the Liver building. So if any of that resonates, take it. If it doesn't, don't worry. Make a mental note of it. It might come back up. So yeah, you've got somebody who's a liar around you is the way it's coming through. I don't know if they know the lying. I don't know if it's like compulsive lying. I don't know if it's little white lies. I don't know if it's something bigger. But somebody is not telling you the whole truth. Libra. And I want to say it's one of these two princes. Whatever the two princes are, it could be love interest for you. You could have like two suitors. That's what the song's about. But it's almost like it could be like an ex, or there's somebody that's not trustworthy. There's somebody that's a liar. Or a trickster with the Mercury. Again, this energy, because at first I thought, is it you? Because I'm getting this impression for you. So for cross watchers watching for a Libra who is perhaps low vibrational, it could be that Libra that you're watching for. For most of you who are watching for a personal reading, I want to say it's somebody that's like, it feels like Libra is truthful and honest, but they're selective about who they share that with. That's the traditional meaning of the King of Swords, right? Queen of Swords is normally the one communicating openly. It's like, if you want to know, just ask and I'll tell you. The King of Swords is normally I'll tell you on a needs to know basis, right? Like, I don't have to share everything with you. Why is it any of your business what I know and what I don't know? Kind of like, who wants to know? King of Swords is normally who wants to know. So again, Libra, I feel like you're being selective with information, like selective with who you say what to. This is often something that can be done as a positive strategy. For example, if I wanted to find out who was sharing my secrets, I might tell two different people different versions of a truth, and then see which one gets shared, right? And then I know who shared it. So if I say I bought a red car to one person and I bought a blue car to the other person, then if the secret gets out and it's everybody's like, oh, that person bought a red car, I know that I told that person about a red car, right? I know where that information's come from. So like I say, it can be strategic and selective information to see who is, spilling the beans, something like that. But so there's like what I'm saying is there can be a positive reason for being selective with the truth, especially if you feel like there's somebody around you who is being manipulative or who is being conniving. It's kind of like that person doesn't need to know all my secrets, right? They're not trustworthy. There's somebody around you that's not trustworthy, whoever's watching this. And I want to say you're being encouraged to just kind of hold back. I do trust my guides. I do trust my guides have my back. So anything I say in the reading is the right time to say it. I'm not scared of being a truth speaker. I'm not scared of kind of like saying what needs to be said, right? I trust that my guides, I trust in the higher good of the power of truth. Yeah. There's something here about with the laurel tree and the soil. So when I talk about trees, it often means your past, your history, and what's nurtured you. The roots of the tree kind of go down into the earth, into the soil. And if that soil's really rich and, if it's like good ground, good earth, that tree's going to grow really big and strong, right? Because it's been nurtured by good soil. But this feels like there's mercury in the soil. So then I went to Google, like, what does that mean? Like, a little bit of mercury can actually be good for some plants, but a lot of the time high mercury levels in soil can be poisonous, especially if it's in the food that we're eating. So if I was to eat a lettuce that's grown in mercury rich soil, I would be putting a lot of mercury in my body. Now we do have mercury in our body naturally. It's something that our bodies can kind of deal with unless the dose is too high, in which case that can be poisonous to us. Mercury poisoning is a thing. This is why we have to be careful when we like smash thermometers and things like this. So it does seem to me that there's some sort of warning here, or the spirit is giving you information that's something to do with a nurturing environment. I want to say it could be, again, because I'm getting a lot of ancestral stuff for you, Libra. I want to say there's something ancestrally for you where something was a bit wrong, right? There was something that shouldn't have been in a nurturing environment, right? And it seems to be like Starman is pointing this out to you. I don't think Starman is a trickster, because I associate it with Aquarius energy, and Aquarius energy to me is very high vibrational, very like Libran energy, right? Like the Justice card, the King and Queen of Swords are associated with truth, justice, high honor, integrity. So I don't think Starman would be the one to be the trickster. Like I say, Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo, if that's an indicator for you, but it doesn't have to be those signs. You got Dirt Off Your Shoulder Lying From You by Jay-Z and Linkin Park. This seemed to be about the false prince or the false king. It's like a prince pretending to be a king, right? It's kind of like someone showing up as though they're all that, and then, but they're not. It's like a front. So it says, I look exactly like what you always wanted to see. When I pretend, I can't forget about the criminal I am. So it has this feeling of like somebody who perhaps maybe, hang on guys. Yeah, so Libra, it does feel like you're in Empress energy at the moment. Sorry about that, by the way, just noisy. It does feel like you're in Empress energy. And I think somebody is feeling like they're not good enough for you. Maybe because they've got like, I don't know, they just feel a little bit like maybe they're self-sabotaging. Maybe they're the sort of person who I don't know. It's kind of like because they don't feel good enough for you, good enough for you. Why did that come out funny? Because they've got you up on a pedestal, because they're seeing you as Empress energy, which you are. The Empress is Libra, Taurus in the tarot. They are not feeling good enough for you, and therefore they're kind of hiding aspects of themselves because they want to present like a king or they want to present like an emperor, right? But they're a prince. This is a prince approaching you, and so they're trying to show up like the way you expect them to, right? They're showing up like because you're expecting an emperor or at least a king, right? Somebody with self-control, somebody who's in good vibrational energy. And people are showing up like pages and knights to you. And it's the an empress really it's not that they're not going to engage with a knight or a page, right? Like this could be your own children, this could be people that you're trying to teach and trying to guide and nurture. Maybe you're like a godparent to somebody, but if this is somebody romantically thinking that they're going to pair with you and match with you, you're a bit like, well, you're going to have to up your game because I'm an empress, I know my worth, and you're not really matching me energetically is the way it's coming through, and this person knows this. So, and it's like they're pretending but they can't forget, right? They're pretending to be, they're putting on a good show but they're not really quite there. So you were getting this through a lot of different songs. So again, you've got like the knowing, because I think you see it, right? This is it drives me mad. I've got loads of Libra in my chart, right? And it's, to me, the way I describe it is like, it's like Judge Judy energy, because it's, a Libra brain is like fact checking, right? Like the funny thing is about Libra, they show up and they seem all daydreamy and fluffy and kind and sweet, but that Libra brain, that diamond mind of yours, it's sharp as a tack. So you can be like smiling and letting people talk and thinking, I'm onto you, buddy. And like they won't have a clue. And so it's not manipulative, it's not deceptive. You're a peacekeeper, right? You want to keep everybody happy. You're actually very forgiving a lot of the time, until somebody really, like, you can go ice queen on people, but and which is the right thing to do in a lot of cases. But yeah, it's kind of like I've had this where people have lied to me, and I'm like, why? I'm like, do you not think, like, what makes you think that I'm not going to see right through this? It's kind of so blatantly obvious to me. And I can sit there with my facts and with the truth and say, look, you told me A, you told me B, or you told me one and you told me one, and you're telling me that adds up to three. And I'll be like, explain to me how that adds up to three. Where's the other one? Right? So it's blatantly obvious, because a lot of the time when people lie, and again, I always call Libra Judge Judy. So if you watch Judge Judy, and she will circle around a liar. She will let them talk, she'll ask them questions, she'll approach from different sides until she narrows it down and she catches them, right? She catches them in the lie, and she's like, well, you've just contradicted yourself, so I know that you're lying, because if you were telling me the truth, you wouldn't have contradicted yourself. So it's like, it's so obvious to Libra energy when somebody's lying, and I don't know why people do it. And it's like, I can say to my kids as well, like that my kids really, at this point, they're teenagers, and they kind of know the best thing to do is just admit the truth. And I'll be like, right, okay, don't do it again. Or, right, okay, what can we do to not do that again? Or, I'll sit there and say, okay, like, that's not the best behavior. Let me explain why, right? We can have a conversation about it. Where when they were younger, my little boy especially, would say things and I'd be like, that's obviously a lie. Like, why are you not telling me the truth, right? And so I call them out on the lie and they learn not to do it. It's like, it's worse for them. It's worse for them. It's almost like they're digging their own grave, right, kind of thing. It's like, it's worse for them when they lie, because then I'm angry that they've lied to me, where if they just told me the truth, because I respect truth speakers, I would have forgiven and maybe not forgotten, but moved on from it. It's just the weirdest thing to me. And I want to say, it's a lot of the time it's because people don't want to disappoint the empress, right? And again, calling myself an empress, guys, but listen, I didn't design the tarot. Yeah, it's kind of like, because something that Libra tends to do, and I'm Libra Venus and Libra Mercury, so my romantic relationships, my friends, my family, I tend to put people up on pedestals, and normally people disappoint me. I'm sorry. And you love them anyway, right? You love people anyway because people are human and fallible. But I do tend to think the best of people um at first, and then I see like, the mask is taken off, or like I see where people are fallible, and I'm like, I I thought better of you, and it's just a disappointing thing, um, and it's my own fault, right? It's my own fault for seeing the best in people, and then being disappointed by the worst. It's kind of like, people say, if you don't love me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. It's kind of that sort of thing where, um, like the rose tinted glasses are there at the start in relationships, and then I start to see that people are fallible, and sometimes it's not compatible with me, and I'm like, I need to distance myself from this because that's not going to work out, friendships, whatever. And it's like I want to, it's like that meme, where she says, I want to bake a cake full of rainbows and everybody be happy. That can be very Libra as well. So I want to say, if you really laid out expectations for someone, if you really see the best in them, if you see somebody as an emperor when deep down inside they feel like a page, um, they're going to be disappointing you, and they're constantly going to be disappointing you, and that's not fair on that other person either. And that could explain though why they're lying, because they want to tell you, but especially if they've got strong Pisces in the chart, by the way, like we've got what, Gemini, Virgo, Pisces placements. Because like this is what my son's like, because he lives in his little fantasy where he did do the right thing and he did make the right choice. He'll be like, yes, I brushed my teeth, and I'm like, but you haven't, because your toothbrush is dry as a bone. Like the evidence is here. Like, this is what I mean, like presenting people the evidence. The evidence says you didn't brush your teeth, and he's like, oh, yeah, okay, I'll go and brush them now. Like, because he wanted to, right? He wanted to have done the right thing, and he was disappointed himself that he hadn't. So I want to say this is an element of this person, but at the same time, Libra, it's not your job, right? It's not your job to get people to be the best versions of themselves. They either match you or they don't, right? And you can encourage them and you can support them and you can show them the better path. But if that person continues to self-sabotage or choose the wrong things, then that's not your fault and it's not your responsibility. It's making me think of that Billie Eilish song, Not My Responsibility. You got Home With You by Madison Beer. Do what you want to do. I'm not going home with you. So with that telephone song by Lady Gaga, where she's like out dancing and she's like, I just want to dance, like, stop calling me. I do feel like you could have lots of admirers. You could meet somebody on a night out. You could have somebody back home who's kind of like ringing you and saying like, where are you? I want to say you're not really interested in either of these people. It's like, you're just there to have a good time. You're there to dance. You're there to go out with your friends. It's like, what makes you think that I'm going home with you? What makes you think that, like, look at this, look at everything that I am, what makes you think that you're worthy of this? Like, don't say that to anyone. It's kind of very egotistical, but you're getting what I'm saying. And again, you can spot a liar from a mile away. Why do people want to lie to Libras? Pages stuck together, I've mentioned that. Cherry blossom in the sycamore tree, what you don't tell no one, you can tell me. Again, it's like somebody's very clever with the words, right? It's kind of like, again, like they're omitting the truth by using double negatives or something like that. It's kind of, you're kind of like, well, what does that mean? Like, you've just contradicted yourself. What does that mean? I think that's the thing. You're catching someone out because they're contradicting themselves, or they think they're being clever, but they're actually like, it's almost like, because they're doing some kind of trick, being like that Mercury energy, which is like the magician, right? Because they're doing some kind of something that's very tricky, because they're trying to avoid telling you a truth. It's almost like the fact that they're being tricky is alerting you to the fact that they're not telling you the truth. So it's kind of like they're not acting natural, right? It's kind of like they're giving their own game away. It's kind of that thing where I've had it something recently where I've been asking someone for information and they keep promising the information, but they're never delivering the information. And I'm kind of like, well, you know, if someone asked me for that information, I wouldn't have a problem sharing it. And so why are you being so tricky, and why are you being so guarded, and why are you being so avoidant? It's like, I've already got the information that I need. I already know that you're being tricky, right? I already know that you're up to something because of the way you're acting. Because if you weren't being tricky, you would have just given me that information. It's like, again, it's kind of like, you just know, Libra, you just know. It's like watching someone and thinking like, the game's up, right? The game's up. Kind of like, what is it? Sherlock Holmes says that. I'm sure he does. Sherlock Holmes says, like, the game's up. Tell me now and tell me true. The other person, so I did ask about the two princes, right? One of them is definitely a liar. The other one appreciates you because you say exactly what you mean. You got truly buy cigarettes after sex. And again, I don't know if this is a romantic relationship or it's something else, but this other person appreciates that you're a truth speaker. Again, could be somebody with Aquarius energy, right? Because you say it as it is. And you could also appreciate this about somebody else. It's like, you know, if this is a new relationship for you, again, I'm not saying that anyone's got multiple partners or anything like that. I don't know your situation. It could even be a friend, a co-worker, somebody that's clicking with you. Like the Queen and King of Swords, strategic, logical, they understand each other, clear communicators, get on normally can get on very, very well, right? Unless there's like the Five of Swords between them, in which case legal battle time. But normally these two are on the same page, right? They understand each other because they communicate clearly, they're logical, they operate the same way, right? Everything's upfront, everything's honest, everything's clear. I'm hearing crystal clear. So yeah, this is somebody like you. I want to say it's mutual. You appreciate that each other tell each other the truth, right? You appreciate that you're both truth speakers, that you're clear, that you're blunt, even, right? Sharp. I like it. I'm like, I'd rather you deliver me a short, sharp, honest blow than, run rings around me for months and keep me stuck in my own head and confused. You have some confusion here, which we'll talk about. Again, I think somebody's, I don't know. The Mercury card gave me truth dealer. So Mercury is a god associated with merchants, right? People who are selling something, people who are in business, they've got something to trade. So I was getting truth dealer. So somebody who deals with truth, or who deals in truth. It could be somebody who's like, who deals in information, right? You know, some people are kind of like, almost like quid pro quo, like you give me some information, I'll give you some information. It could be somebody like that around you. But again, just watch out for that Mercury energy. I don't trust it. I also got from that truth dealer, the word merchant. It was giving me like the merchant navy, again, because this could be somebody who's in some kind of, especially because you're getting like the coat of arms, right? It could be somebody who's in some kind of, like the Navy, the Army, something like that, the armed forces. Or I think merchant navy's not armed, right? It's like, I don't know. Take it as you will. You've got Home With You by Madison Beer. I've mentioned that. She says, I ain't got no time for no games. Again, you've got this like gambling, like playing games, gambling. You've not got time for it, right? You're a busy person, Libra. You're not messing around here. It's like, just like, either give me the facts or I'm just going to go and do something else, right? I've not got time to waste on you here. It's like that. It's like, I've not got time to waste on your games. And then you've got Fighter by Christina Aguilera. Thinking you were true, I called your bluff. Yeah, it's like, thank you for making me stronger. Thank you for making me a fighter. Thank you for, I've learned things from you. I don't like you. I don't respect you, but you've taught me something. So thank you. That kind of thing. You've also got Voi Vedere Che Ti Amo by Gianluca Grignani. And it says, we've been here for an hour, you and me talking like we haven't done yet. This is the English translation. And strangely enough, I don't feel strange. Do you want to see that I love you? Better to take risks, than never indulge. But if you like, you can stay here. Turn the phone off and work the miracle. Now, it's funny because the word miracle, I was listening to this song while I was like washing my hair, and my shampoo said miracle recovery. So again, I feel like one of these two suitors or two people approaching you, right? It's almost like they both feel like a gamble. They both feel like a risk. But I want to say one is, and again, you don't have to, just because you're presented with two choices, you've always got the third choice of saying no to both. Just throwing that out there. Was there anything else? Let me just quickly double check. Sorry, I know it's a long reading. There's a lot of intuitive messages. Sad Happy by Circa Waves. You know me, I'm sad happy. My heart's made out of concrete. That was giving Capricorn energy. I was dancing with my eyes wide shut, trying not to think too much. And yep, okay. Any songs that have come through will be down in the description box down below for you. I may miss one or two, so do make your own notes if needs be, if there's something specific that you want to remember. You are standing your ground. This could be something that's defensive for you. Again, if there's something legal going on for you. You haven't got the Justice card. So I don't know what this situation is, because I want to say if it was legal, you would have the Justice card. You do have official person though. So it could be that there's somebody like, it may be a situation where maybe you're not directly involved with the law, but you could have to give a witness statement, right? It's like, you know, you could be, it's kind of like, say for example, you witnessed a traffic accident where one person bumped into another, everybody was safe, they had to share the details, but someone said, hey, you were walking past, could you be my witness? You know, could you give a witness statement? So it's kind of, it could be something like that where you're not directly involved in a court case or a trial, but you are indirectly involved. It could be something like that. Because I do get this feeling of like you're giving a statement, or somebody's asking you to like clarify some information. So it could even be something where maybe there's an investigation going on in work, and somebody's coming to you to kind of like just interview you and say, I've just got a few things that I want to clarify, like where you were on that day, what you saw, who said what, you know, that kind of thing. Because it feels a bit like you need to like sign it, right? Yeah. Snake card there as well. There's definitely, this is the thing though, I want to say it was in Leo's reading. Whichever reading it was, I think I called it something like they're not getting away with it, or like they think they're getting away with it but they're not. It's like, I don't know. So like I say, it could be something to do with work, because you do have the Three of Pentacles here with the Page of Wands as well, and the Four of Cups. Yeah, there's something that you're not taking, right? Yeah, no. The Page of Pentacles into Death, and there's the King of Swords again. Yeah, no, somebody, I want to say this King of Swords, it's like they're protecting your happiness. Yeah, look at that, blocked. They're stopping you from getting involved in something that may seem quite exciting at first, but it's naive, right? It's not for you because you're an Empress, right? So this Page of Wands coming up to you, there's this feeling of like, no, I'm not taking that offer. I'm not taking that pentacle because it's like it's doomed to fail. This person sees it, they're protecting your happiness. That person has your back, absolutely. I want to say you see it as well. Again, there's this thing about when to speak and when not to speak. So I got my zippy down. This from he's very dusty, guys, so please forgive me. He's got actually, I don't know if the cat's been on his head. So I got Zippy from Rainbow, and you can see his little mouth zips, you know, like the little emoji. It's kind of like zip your lips. But I did notice his mouth was like wide open. It's like he's blabbing. He's got this little feather on his head. Right, I'm going to talk about that in relation to this Page of Wands in a second. Right, the Page of Swords. I want to say this is you because normally the first card indicates the person I'm reading for. Information gathering. I need more information. I need to do my research. I need to ask questions. I need to sit. I need to watch. I need to wait. So it could be that you're keeping an eye on a situation. You could be keeping an eye on things, kind of letting something play out for itself. You know, sometimes, again, with that kind of like tricky liar energy, you know, sometimes people kind of out themselves and all you have to do is like step back, and it's like they mess themselves up, right? And it's kind of like, why did you think you were going to get away with that? Like it was obvious that was doomed to fail. It's something like that. You've got this kind of like watching, waiting, holding back energy. Now there's something about these two, this Knight of Pentacles. So it could be a situation where you're moving very, very slowly, right? It's kind of like one step at a time. You don't want to go too fast with this situation because there is still more to learn. It's kind of like you don't want to run before you know how to walk. So there's this kind of, the Page of Pentacles, the Knight of Pentacles, I don't think it's you. I think it's somebody that you're watching. Virgo energy, this would be Gemini energy for me as a reader, but don't worry. Don't get too hung up on star signs because we all have all energy. The full zodiac is part of our chart, basically. So I'm not talking about individuals, I'm talking about energy, but just in case it helps. So the Knight of Pentacles, there could be somebody around you who's like dragging the feet. Again, it's kind of like this reluctance of, you're wanting information, you're wanting clarity, and this person's kind of like, like back and forth, to and fro, dragging the feet, because it's like the horse is trying to go backwards, but he's facing that way. So it's got this kind of like delay, like somebody who's intentionally delaying, especially with the hangman there as well. You've got the temperance card. You could be dealing with a lot of delays, especially if this is like a legal thing, like paperwork. Like sometimes if you're dealing with kind of government, like trying to get your passport and things like that, sometimes it can feel like you're jumping through hoops. There's a lot of back and forth, like you sometimes think like, how hard is it to just kind of like stamp something and approve it? Like, why is this taking so, why do you want more information? It just feels like a pain in the ass, basically. And again, it's like you're asking for more information, they're asking for more information, there's delays. Ugh, it's annoying. I want to say it's in regards to some kind of like payout. So this is the Six of Pentacles is like a rebalancing of the finances. So it could be something where maybe this is something to do with like work contracts with the Three of Pentacles. It could be a situation where, you left a job, but they didn't give you your last pay. So then you have to kind of like, start legal, like maybe speak to a solicitor, get a solicitor to act on your behalf. And they're kind of like, that could be why the King of Swords has your back. It's kind of like they're giving you legal advice. It could just be one of those situations where it's like, this should be easy, but it's turned into like this pain in the bum kind of paperwork, dragging it out situation. It's kind of like, so sometimes, like, I know somebody who wanted to get the money out of the bank. And the bank made it as difficult as possible for them to do this, because the bank was sat there earning interest on their money. And it's like, once this person took the money out of the bank account was not going to be earning interest on their money anymore. So it wasn't in the bank's interest to give the person their money back, right? So yeah, it was a lot of paperwork, it was a lot of faffing. So it feels like a situation like that where, there is something that's meant to be being rebalanced, but it's almost as well, like with this, because he's wearing green here, right? And he's wearing green. He almost looks to me like when this person finally does pay up, or when this whoever this is for you, like they, them, he, him, she, her, right? Whatever this is, when it finally pays out, it's almost like they do a big show of it, and it's like giving peanuts, right? It's like breadcrumbing or something, but they're like making a big show of it. It's like they want everybody to see them. So it could be something, somebody had this thing about like a divorce, like parents divorcing, like when, the mum's doing everything, but the dad kind of like just shows up at the weekend. It's kind of like, it's giving that energy. And again, I don't want to assign it to certain genders, right? There's some brilliant dads out there who are like single parents who are like, doing what has to be done. And there's some terrible mothers. So I don't want to assign capability to either gender, but it does feel a bit like, when this person finally like gives the kids the spending money, it's like they want everybody to know, right? They take a photo of it, it's kind of like, there's something a bit yucky about it. There's something about this rabbit as well. Can you see he's looking back at this rabbit? So it could be the sort of person who's like, they show up with like a random pet, and like, like the mum's there looking after the kids all week, and the dad kind of like, drops them off after the weekend, and they've brought a rabbit home, and the mum's like, oh right, so now I have to pay for a hutch, now I have to pay for the rabbit's food. It could be a situation like that where it's kind of, I don't know, I don't know. I'm sorry, guys, if you're going through that. It's a pain, right? But this kid, the thing is, this kid's really excited about this. And this is what I think is going to get this person in trouble, right? Because he's almost like, it's like the kids are like, yeah, we're getting money, we're getting spends, we're getting this, we're getting that. And like, it doesn't have to be money and spends, by the way. This could be like a teacher who's, I don't know, giving these kids gold stars, or, somebody, if this is like, if this is a work thing for you, and this isn't children, but it's like apprentices, it's like the boss coming in and being like, handing out bonuses, but maybe they're not supposed to, because the Page of Wands, and again, the Page of Wands doesn't think about what they're doing, right? They're learning, and they're learning about one's energy, and one's energy is kind of like creative, excited, spontaneous, and it's always giving like shouting from the rooftops, right? So it's like this person's telling everybody, it's like, I got a bonus, it's kind of like, And this I want to say is because this hangman energy is almost like, because it's coming through with this pentacle as well, it's like showing them the evidence, right? Because everybody knows, like, this person didn't, it's like this person can't keep a secret. They're kind of like blabbing it, right? They're blabbing it out. But I want to say that they're divinely guided to, with the feather on the head. I kind of don't know what this is. Like, I think he might have fallen in my plant pot. It's got like mud on him. Yeah, so like the Page of Wands, whoever this is, it's kind of like they're blurting all this out, right? They're blabbering to everybody. They're telling everybody they can possibly think of telling because they're so excited about it. It's like look at this, like the sunflower. It's like, look at this necklace that this person got me. Look at this, like, I don't know. Look at dad bought me a new cat. Dad bought me a new cat. You know, something like that. And it's, I want to say it's getting this person in trouble because it's drawing attention to what they're doing. And then this feels a little bit like, they're being confronted with the evidence, right? It's kind of like, where did you get this money from? So this money that you gave to the kids, this money that you gave to the apprentices, where did you get this money from? Because, you know, maybe they told someone else that they didn't have any money. And it's like, okay, you told me that you didn't have any money. I paid your bills for you. And then you're over there kind of like handing out money like it's confetti. Like, this is what I mean. It's like, it's not adding up. Right? It's not adding up. You know, somebody who's telling you that, you know, woe is me, I haven't got any money, I haven't got any independence, I haven't got any work, you know, this sort of thing. And then the next thing is kind of like the buying, you know, they're in the pub, they're buying everybody rounds, and, or like they've just bought themselves a new sports car, and you're like, wait a second, there's something that's not adding up for you, right? And it's, when this happens, when the Page of Wands shouts something from the rooftops, it changes the perspective on the situation and creates confusion, right? There's confusion because, and I want to say it's good confusion. Again, it feels kind of divinely guided because it's almost like then people start to ask questions, or then people start to look at this more closely. It's like the confusion has a purpose in this instance. And then the Nine of Pentacles. So there's something about not being independent, or not feeling independent, or not doing the self-care, right? The Nine of Pentacles in the upright is Capricorn energy, and it's normally very, very self-sufficient. It's kind of, they call it the Empress in the making, right? The Empress in waiting, the Garden and the Gate card. So it's somebody who's like very capable, very good at looking after themselves. They're nurturing, but normally a lot of the time they're pouring that nurturing energy into themselves. So sometimes the Nine of Pentacles can be somebody who's like running their own independent business, or they've got their own independent finances, right? They've got some amount of either skills or finances, or something practical and tangible that's giving them an element of independence. But when the reverse is kind of like, well, it's not that, right? It's the opposite of that. So it could be that somebody's confused about their ability to be independent, about their ability to stand on their own 2 feet, about their ability to provide for themselves, to nurture themselves. And then the Six of Cups energy here, it just seems to be something to do with like maybe children, or can also indicate soulmate energy. So it could be something like, I can't do this on my own. I need a soulmate, right? I can't do this by myself. I need to partner up with somebody. I need a teammate. Because if the Six of Cups is indicating soulmate energy, it's followed by the Hierophant card. And the Hierophant card is, it can be marriage, right? So it's kind of like, I'm not single, I'm married. It could be this is somebody around you. I'm not single. I'm not free to do what I want to do because I'm committed elsewhere. The Hierophant card is commitment. But it could also be, you know, I'm married with children. It could be something like this, or it could be, again, it's kind of like, I need to get married. I need to team up with somebody to do this. If it's not marriage and relationships, it's business. It's something like, I can't run this business all by myself, right? I don't have the skills. I don't have the money. I need to get maybe some kind of investor. Again, the official person is probably connected to the Hierophant energy. It's like the Hierophant energy can be like church, government, politics, state, institutions like universities. It's normally it's an institution, something very formal, something very traditional, something very established. So I would normally associate the official person with working with that Hierophant energy. Just be careful though, because like I say, I don't know if it's the official person who's the thief, right? Because it's like this, right? The thief card is behind the official person and the false person is here. So it could be somebody acting, like I said, the bank, right? The bank doesn't want to give the person the money because the bank's making money on the interest. So as soon as they give the person the money back, the bank's lost business, right? So it's not in their interest. And then marriage as well, and despair. I don't know. There's something off. This is what I mean. It's like your intuition, not even your intuition, because maybe you are very intuitive, right? Maybe you've got Scorpio in your chart. It could be both your intuition and the logic, right? Emotionally, this isn't making sense. Logically, this isn't making sense. Something is off, right? Things are not adding up. There's something about this Six of Cups card as well. And again, it can indicate children, and I am associating it with the page energy because like here on this card, right, there's like this little girl and this little boy. On this card here, the little boy's got this cat. Well, the little boy's actually got a frog if you look closely, but then this cat's nearby, this like ginger tabby. So ginger tabbies could be something relevant to somebody. And then there's also this rabbit, right, with the girl. So it could even be a situation where maybe somebody has two children and maybe, you know, the boy's got a cat. So the dad's like, right, well, if the boy's got a cat and that's his pet, then I'm going to get the girl a rabbit because that's going to make the situation fair and equal, right? But then it's almost like, well, then the little boy gets a frog. So it might be one of those situations where you're trying to make things okay. A really good example of this, if this is you and you're trying to make something fair for two different people, when I'm buying Christmas presents, one of my children's birthdays is very close to Christmas, and so in the months leading up to Christmas, I start to buy gifts, right? And it's normally like little things, like, you know, little things that they can unwrap on the day. Not so much now they're older, because it's kind of like, Mum, can I have a new computer? And it's kind of like, well, that's all you're getting. So it's like, but when they were younger especially, and I wanted them to have things to unwrap and open and like presents under the tree, I would find that I thought I'd bought enough gifts, but when I would sit down and try to wrap them, you know, it wouldn't be equal because I needed the equal amount of Christmas gifts and then another, like a third pile for my kid's birthday, right? So it's kind of like I had to have three equal piles. So what, 33% for the kid, for one kid, 66% for the other, because that's how it needed to be, like. And then the other kid, like, their birthday was a few months later and they'd get their other share. So it's kind of this energy of kind of like, so then I'd be like, right, I need to buy more for this kid and I'd buy more for that kid, but then it was like, well, I've got too much for that kid, I need to buy more for that kid. So I was constantly trying to like rebalance the scales. It could be something like that. So the Hierophant card, whatever this energy is coming in for you for, again, it could indicate the need to partner up with someone, the need to, the lack of ability to be independent, and the need to be associated with some kind of organization in some sort of way. You've got Temperance here, and again with this balancing energy. So this is Sagittarius for me, but she's kind of mixing two energies. So normally on the Temperance card, it's somebody who's got two cups, and they're trying to balance it to get like the same amount in each cup, or to mix the two drinks into something new. So it's an alchemical card. Sometimes it's a mix of fire and water, so it's getting the balance right. It's creating a new energy from two different elements, basically. But it does talk about the need to be patient. The Hangman card, again, this idea of like being tied up, having to slow things down in order to see a new perspective. The Temperance card, again, being very, very slow and patient and steady. And then your reading actually ends with the Three of Swords. So this is confusing me. I'm like, why is the Three of Swords here? It's next to the Nine of Pentacles, so it could be a situation where, you know, you would prefer to be independent, you would prefer to be perhaps single, or to have an independent business, something like this, but you don't have the funds, you don't have the assets, you don't have the skills. So you know that you need to partner up in some way with this Hierophant energy, which could be, if I get married, I can't be single anymore. I don't have my personal freedom. Like, I don't know, it's going to be like shared finances because of this marriage. And it's heartbreaking because you want to be, I want to say it's heartbreaking to not be this, right? And it's not necessarily that there's anything bad about the Hierophant energy. There's a lot of good to be said about the Hierophant energy, but it could be very disappointing for you to feel like you can't stand on your own 2 feet and you can't be independent. It's kind of like you would prefer to feel, ideally you'd get two Nine of Pentacles that match, and they'd pair up and they'd be equals in a relationship to create the Ten of Pentacles. So if you're coming to a situation in a state of lack, it could be very difficult for you with the Three of Cups. The Three of Swords. It might be that you have to ask for financial assistance in a situation. It might be that you have to take a job that, really you didn't want to be contracted to a certain job. You wanted to be freelance, but being contracted to a certain institution is more regular money. Being like permanently employed is a more reliable source of income, and that's what you need at this time, rather than being maybe an independent freelance contractor, which is perhaps not as consistent as you need. It could be something like that. So the foresight could actually be telling you to plan ahead, right? Balance out your finances, be careful. I'm not seeing the Four of Pentacles, but something like that, where it's kind of like save money, like save for a rainy day, so that you don't get into these situations where you run out of funds or something like that. I want to clarify this. I actually want to clarify quite a few things. Clarify the Knight of Pentacles. I feel like I don't need to clarify that, actually. No, they've given me one. Nine of Cups. It's like they're down the pub, right? It's like, why aren't you home yet? I'm in the pub. Something about this Knight of Pentacles, whoever this is for you. There could be something about wish fulfillment. Definitely, if this is a Virgo for you, check out Virgo's reading, because they had this, especially because you've got the unicorn as well, and underneath the unicorn is Hermit energy. Okay, so check out Virgo's reading, especially if you're Libra, Virgo, cusp, because they had this thing about something that felt impossible, and then it's like a wish came true for them. So it could be that you're the wish come true, right? But there is something that's overindulgent about this card. You can see they've got too many drinks lined up on the bar. So it could even be this sense of kind of like, what's taking you so long to get home? They've gone to the bar. So the Six of Pentacles could be something about somebody who's giving to two places. If you're in a relationship with somebody who already has children from a previous relationship, this could be where some of the funds are going, because it's kind of like they need to pay, if the kids need new shoes, they need to be like making sure that they're providing for those children from a previous relationship. So there's they're trying to balance the finances between the two. It could be something like that. That Page of Wands. Don't feel like I need to clarify him. I want to clarify the Hangman, though. Tell me about the Hangman. They're giving me a long time coming. It's a long time coming. It could be a situation where somebody's waiting for the kids to grow up. It's like once the kids are 18, they don't have to pay child support anymore. They're going to have a bit more financial freedom, but then they don't. The Ace of Cups and the Seven of Pentacles. Yeah, it just feels like something that's a long time coming. Yeah, especially with the Knight of Pentacles. It's like, why isn't this here yet? If this is a relationship you're waiting for, it's kind of like nothing's growing. Something very stuck about that. Tell me about the Seven of Cups. It could be somebody's reassessing their options. Oh, somebody's got competition. Yeah, I want to say you've got... whoever's trying to court you has competition. You had two princes, right? Two princes who adore you. This looks like you've got more than two admirers. There's Five of Wands, Seven of Cups. This looks like you've got a lot of options, Libra. I don't think you're the sort of person to go, I've got a lot of options, so it will be game. But I also think that you're kind of reassessing your options because maybe you've not chosen, you've not, I feel like you've chosen somebody who's not living up to your expectations. So there could be a reassessment there for some of you, for not all of you. Again, it could be a job, it could be like you've took a job and you're not getting the bonuses that you were promised, so you're kind of like, well, I know my worth, right? I know I'm the emperor, I should be an empress, but you've kept me waiting. If I can, maybe that's what it is. I'm not prepared to be an empress in waiting anymore. It's time for me to be the empress. Maybe it's heartbreaking for you to leave a certain situation. But yeah, the Hierophant. Let's clarify the Nine of Pentacles. Oh, hidden communication. Look at that. Hidden communication and hidden action. There's that Page of Wands. Clarify the Page of Wands. Trapped. Or caught. Maybe it's a caught energy. I don't know. It could be caught, right? Justice card, but I would have thought the Justice card would come out with that. It feels like a trap, right? It feels like somebody's getting caught in a trap because the Page of Swords is doing something about this hidden communication, but this person's shouting about it. Again, Libra, in October, I think you need to play your cards very close to your chest. Like, keep your secrets safe. Don't go blabbing. Tell me about the Hierophant. Why is the Hierophant here for Libra? So I've not felt the need to clarify really with any of the other readings, but I'm feeling the need to clarify with you. It might be because the visuals on the cards that I was using for the previous 6 readings were much more down to earth, right? They were much more self-explanatory, while this is more kind of traditional tarot and energetic. So I just feel like I need to clarify a few things. I'm not getting as much from the images. I might change decks again. The Hierophant, please. Trapped. Yeah. Oh God, it feels a bit like trapped in a marriage or trapped in a job contract or trapped because you've not got what you need to be independent. So this energy, although it's coming through something that you need and something that's helpful and something that's beneficial, it is making you feel trapped. You could have Sagittarius placements or Aries placements. One of the signs that like to feel very free, Aquarius as well. Aquarius is a sign that likes to feel free. They don't like to feel trapped or penned in. So, yeah, because you're having to, it's like you're having to take, I don't know, it's like you're having to take a job where you're working for someone else or something, or you're having to get married because you can't afford to live independently. It's making you feel super trapped. What is Temperance? Page of Pentacles. But coming up with a plan, right? Like accepting the situation as it is for now, but coming up with a plan. Or studying, or gathering your resources, or preparing in a very practical way while you wait. Why is the Three of Swords here? There you go. There's the Empress on the underlying, guys. Glad we finally got her, because that's you. The King of Pentacles. This could be a husband, business partner. Someone associated, I want to say, with the Hierophant energy. The Star card can be healing, but it normally talks about, it's Aquarian energy again. It talks about dreams, aspirations, goals, wishes. Again, maybe somebody sees you as like a dream come true. Be careful about getting pregnant. Just because you're coming through this trapped energy, and there's 2 rabbits and the Empress, you can see the Empress is pregnant. Sometimes people like to lock it down by getting somebody pregnant, so just be very, very careful of that if that's not something that you want. I do think somebody sees you as a dream, or you see somebody else as a dream come true. The High Priestess energy is like the Sybil energy. It's the Scorpio energy. So it's deep knowing, deep intuition about a dream that you have. And the Three of Cups. I don't know if you suspect somebody of, he's like courting these two other women, right? He's like down the pub chatting up these two other women. I don't know if you suspect that somebody's like giving to multiple people. Now, that doesn't mean anyone's cheating or having an affair, right? What I'm saying here is, and it's going to be different for everybody, you are, I feel like it's like you're tapping into the stars, right? You're tapping into something energetic. This Scorpio energy, right? It's like somebody on the other side who's got your back. It could be a father, right? A dad who's got your back, right? They're on the other side. Energetically, you're linked to them. Doesn't it have the feeling of like the wife's at home and like the bloke's in the pub? There's something. I just feel, Libra, that you're being disrespected and you're aware of it. Right? Feeling very trapped, feeling like you don't have options. It's making me think of, I keep getting these videos this week, and it's funny because it's like my namesake, right? Cinderella. I'm thinking about changing the channel name, by the way, if anyone notices that. It's something I'm considering. I just don't know what I want to change it to yet. I think a lot of people kind of, and I've talked about this in my readings before, like I think sometimes people don't like the traditional fairy tales like Cinderella, Snow White, right, Sleeping Beauty, where it's kind of like the princess is being mistreated in some sort of way, right? And they they have this need for the prince to come and save them, the prince to come and rescue them because they don't have options themselves. And this is seen as being something that's kind of like weak or it's not female empowerment, right? So I think modern fairy tales, there's a lot of rewritings of stories like Cinderella where, Cinderella gets herself out and she doesn't need the prince. And, she uses her smarts and her ingenuity and her business skills to have a dressmaking business. And then the prince is like awed because she's, got herself out of the bad situation. She's worked her own way out of poverty. And it's like, that's great, right? That is the fairy tale of the capitalist society. That is a fairy tale. And the thing about fairy tales is, for most people, they don't come true, right? For most people, it's only ever going to be a fantasy and it's only ever going to be a dream. And that is as true. That is more true, I want to say, about the idea that in a very, very corporate, capitalist, commercial society, the idea that we can beat the system, right? Against all odds, something within us is going to rise above the rest. And, we're going to save ourselves because we're going to work really hard, right? And it's like, for most people, if you look at statistics, people who are born into poverty or people who are in an abusive, bad situation, that cycle perpetuates, and it will perpetuate across generations. Most people who are born in poverty die in poverty, and so will their children and so will their grandchildren. That is statistically true, especially in competitive, money-based societies where it's kind of like a pyramid scheme where you have to kind of like rise to the top and be the best and beat everybody else, right? It's like, in order to climb to the top, you have to push other people down. And this is celebrated, right? This is something that in movie making, like, girls are taught, right? You have to be better than the others. You have to, if you work really hard, you can make your dreams come true. It's not true. I worked really hard. I worked so hard, and I got myself a university degree against all odds, right? And it got me nowhere. It got me nowhere, right? The dream didn't come true. And so I think for a lot of people who are in bad situations, perhaps they're in abusive situations, perhaps they're in a cycle of poverty that, like I say, at one point I was working 6 days a week in quite a good job as well, 2 jobs, and I didn't have very much money than I have now, where I'm not working that hard. And um, there is a big corporate lie, right? The fairy tales are making us think that we have to work ourselves to the bone in order to succeed. And a lot of the time that is not the case, right? My mum worked all her life, earned her pension. The pension got taken away. It got delayed by 5 years because the government changed the policy. And she was still working, even though she was unfit to do so. She was working herself to death. She was making herself sick because she was trying to work because the government was making her work. And the government, who had promised her a pension and then took it away, right? And made it difficult for her to kind of claim the money that she needed to live a healthy, happy life. She was working and she worked herself sick, and then she died. She got a pension, she died. The government didn't have to pay out mum's pension. So this big corporate lie that says you have to work yourself to death, which again, if for those of you who are Libra, Virgo cusp, go and check out their reading. It's not right. It might be true, it's not right. And so a lot of people are reclaiming the Cinderella story and seeing it in a way where this girl who is kind, and this girl who is doing the best that she can in really unfortunate situation, desperately needs some help. She definitely desperately needs somebody to come and give her a break, because every time she tries to help herself, she makes herself a dress, the selfish evil people around her rip it apart, and she's back to square one and feeling even worse than she was in the first place. This girl needs help. She can't do it alone. And that is the reality that a lot of people are facing. That is the truth of this reading, right? This Nine of Pentacles in reverse. The fact of the matter is, and the bottom line is, a lot of people are struggling, and a lot of people can't do it on their own, or they feel like they can't do it on their own, and they feel desperate, and they think, if I could just have a fairy godmother, if someone would just come in and wave a magic wand and make my situation better and give me a fighting chance, I would take it. But the reality is, there's no fairy godmothers. And the reality is, for a lot of people, no matter how hard they work, they don't work their way out of poverty. That's the truth of our society. And yeah, there's the one or two, right, who do beat the system, and they do make the dreams come true, and they do, by some miracle, figure things out. A lot of the success stories you hear, like the Kardashians and Donald Trump with his $1 million or whatever it is, like his small loan, a lot of people who are successful came from successful backgrounds. The majority, that's the case. Right? If you start from nothing, it's very hard to work up to something. Again, look at the statistics on that. Don't look at the dream that is being pumped to us through social media and Instagram, because that is not the truth. So the reason why it's important to have the fairy tales, why it's important to have the Cinderella stories, is because it gives people a sense of hope, right? It gives people the dream. It gives people the star energy of, maybe one day my prince will come. Like, maybe I'm doing the best I can, right? Maybe I'm working as hard as I can. Maybe I've got 3 jobs. Maybe I'm raising 2 children. Maybe my back is being broken by this society that is making me work myself to death, doing the best I can. And maybe I just need a fairy godmother. Maybe I just need somebody to wave a magic wand and make it all better. And wouldn't that be fabulous if that happened? Wouldn't it be fabulous if I won the lottery? Because I think without hope and without dreams, we might as well just roll over and die, right? Maybe the dreams are a bad thing. Maybe the dreams are a carrot on the stick. I don't know, but I see a lot of people reclaiming the Cinderella story because I watched I'll try and remember to link it perhaps at the end of this video or in the community tab, but I watched this video again about this young Black woman, and she said growing up, Cinderella was her favorite princess and her favorite fairy tale, the original Disney version, right? And she related to it so deeply because she grew up in a situation just like that was terrible. And Cinderella was her coping mechanism. It was her dream, right? It was her life raft in a very difficult time. And so she dislikes the modern retellings because, you know, they're almost saying to her, you're not trying hard enough, you're not working hard enough, you know, you need to save yourself, when that's been impossible. That's all she's been trying to do, and that's impossible for her, right? So I don't know. I don't know. I knew that was going to come out in somebody's reading. Advice. Oh, the King of Roses. It's like the King of and the King of Keys. Two princes. Libra, you can't make it up. Two princes, right? Two kings. The King of Keys and the King of Roses. And you couldn't have two opposite energies. The King of Keys is kind of a mix of pentacles and swords for me. The King of Roses is like a mix of cups and wands. So, I mean, if you smushed them together, you'd have an emperor, right? But two princes. Okay, the King of Roses came out, so that's the one I'm going to read. And maybe that's the choice you need to take. I don't know. It's like two princes here before you. That's what I said. No, or is it one's got castles and diamonds in his pocket, and one's got dreams about buying new rockets. King of Roses. Oh, I'm fed up on your behalf, Libra. Libras have had a tough time of it. Libras and Capricorns. And Cancers as well. Cancers are a bit up and down. Right, hang on. I can't find it. King of Keys. Maybe we'll ring... I don't know if we should ring the King of Keys. He didn't actually come out, did he? Maybe that's the thing. Maybe he doesn't show up. But maybe the King of Roses is there in the club. I don't know. This card shows a man holding two roses, a red and white, demonstrating a balance of passion and purity. At his feet are the yellow roses of healing and creativity. This is the King of Love, a man who is balanced and well-rounded. That suits you, Libra, balanced, right? That's what we're looking for here. When he appears upright in your spread, it indicates that a potential union could be at hand, whether in friendship, business, or even romance. What did I say? There's a potential union. Like you're teaming up with someone, right? Friendship, business, or even romance. Whether this is a new relationship or the blossoming of an old one, this man brings tender-hearted and thoughtful support, and maybe that's what you need, right? So maybe accept this. He's also someone who could be helpful in your personal life, especially when home or family issues are concerned. Whether the King of Roses is you or another man, the role of a husband or father is now opening up to create a happy home and family. Maybe this is what you've been dreaming of, right? The King of Pentacles, the Star. This card also lets you know that you are ready to stand up for yourself and take loving but considered action on your own behalf. It's a time of increasing love and compassion, and which always start within. That was hard to get out. Maybe it's the end to the period of self-care, right? Maybe that's it. Maybe you've been looking after yourself for a long time, but now the right person is showing up and you're stepping into a collaboration. Why is the conflict under that though? Maybe you've met this, it could be a situation where, you know, you've been hurt in the past, you know, you've been burnt before. So actually having to put your trust in somebody else, being the Queen of Swords, right? The Queen of Swords can be like somebody who's like a divorcee, or they've been through a really bad relationship and this is what's made them quite cold and self-reliant. Normally the Queen of Swords is not partnered. So to go from being somebody who looks after themselves, somebody who stands alone, somebody who's self-reliant, and had strong boundaries, right? And maybe had to stand up for yourself quite a lot, to go into a new partnership, whether this again is business, romance, what shared resources, to team up with somebody. It could be very scary, right? Because you've been hurt before. Close your eyes and step into the robe of the King of Roses. You are the king of family, home, and community. Feel a sense of care swell within you. What would you like to bring to the world around you now? Perhaps there's two people. Like I say, here you've got two people, right? The King of Swords and the King of Water. It's almost like these are the two kings, right? Backing you up. So again, it could be friends, it could be parents, it doesn't have to be romantic. Because I associate the King of Keys, like I say, with the King, with Pentacles and Swords, and here's the King of Swords, and here you've got cups and wands, and here's the King of Cups. Right, the King of Water is the King of Cups. So it feels a little bit like you've got support from both sides, and it feels like they're bringing everything you need. Right, here comes the guy with the keys. Here comes the guy with the resources. Here comes the guy with the knowledge, the strategy, the plan, the money. And here's the guy with the emotional support and the, the shoulder to cry on, you know, the deep love and affection that's unconditional. So it could be that you're getting what you need, but from two different people. Because the Empress, this is the thing about the Empress, she's all four queens, right? She's the Queen of Swords, Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Cups, Queen of Wands. So to match you, if it's not an Empress, it could be an Empress showing up, right? If it's not one person, meeting all those needs, it could be that you're having to rely on two people, right, to match your energy. Because the Empress is four, the King of Kings and the King of Roses, they're two. So it's like 2 and 2 add 4. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you understand what I mean? Maybe if this is polyamory, I don't know. But it could also be, a brother and a boss, an uncle and a boss, something like that, right? It could be that to have the support you need, which is 4 things, you're having to get it from 2 different places, which is not necessarily a bad thing, right? It doesn't mean, the 3 of Cups, this is the thing that the 3 of Cups can indicate like 3 people in a relationship or a third party situation, but it could actually be that you're saying, I don't know, it's like maybe I need 2 people in my life. Everybody's situation is going to be different, right? Take that as it resonates, leave it if it doesn't. I'm going to get you a song. I'm just loading. Oh, I've got a bloody advert. We should close and open again. There we go. We've got Borderline by Madonna, if that's relevant to anyone. It was the song that was about to play, but I'm going to randomize you a song right now. What do we have? If I get an advert, I'm sorry, I'll skip it, but I should see what it is before. In fact, let's do it. Okay, so it's Borderline by Madonna. What do we have, please? Dr. Hook, You Make My Pants Want to Get Up and Dance. I feel like this is this one. Pleasure and Pain. Okay. So the lyrics aren't available, so I'm just Googling them. You make my pants want to get up and dance. You make my face want to grin. You make my knees want to kneel down, say please. Honey, won't you kiss me again? I was a lost and lonely man. This feels like Virgo. Go check out Virgo's reading. I was a lost and lonely man. Now I get through life the best I can. Till the day I laid my eyes on you. At that day I decided what I had to do. Yeah, I'm telling you, someone's got you on a pedestal. Right? They want to kneel down and say please because they're that impressed by you. Start the music, strike up the band. I've never done the boogie, but I believe I can. I've never met a girl half as sweet as you. Nobody's ever moved the moves that you do. Yeah, okay. Yeah, somebody's a bit smitten. All right, you're going to be okay, Libra. You're going to be fine, right? Sit in your Empress energy. Let these kings come to you, right? Let them court you. Maybe it's like you're not telling one about the other. It could be something like that. It's kind of like, oh. All right, I'm gonna go. Libras, I don't know. Libras are Libras. Take care of yourselves. Maybe somebody's got like a Gemini Venus placement. I don't know. Take care of yourselves. Look after your loved ones. Stick up for yourself. Stand your ground. All that good stuff. And you know what? if people are being immature around you, and I see, you know, liars and thieves as being very immature, it's kind of like, to me, being somebody who's quite, I've got my own spiritual beliefs, and I believe in karma, right? I believe we generate our own karma through our actions. And if we choose to be thieves, if we choose to be low vibrational, if we choose to be like liars and thieves, I see it as very childish. Like I said, my children grew out of it, right? They learned that it was better to tell me the truth, right? And I think that lying, cheating, stealing comes from immaturity. And as you mature, you recognize that you do get yourself into bad situations if you choose to, you know, lower vibrational behaviors. And they're showing me the priest from Les Miserables. So if you know the priest from Les Miserables, the guy steals from him. He steals some candlesticks, and the priest kind of knew that that was a possibility, and almost allows him to do it. And in the end, like the guy matures and he returns the candlesticks. So they're showing me like you're the priest, right? Who knows that what people are up to, but you're kind of like allowing it, and you're letting them learn their own lessons through generating their own bad karma, right? It's like the universe is going to, I've done this myself where it's kind of like, I know people are lying, cheating, stealing, right? I'm just going to separate myself from that energy, and I'm going to let the universe do its thing. And something that I predicted actually came to be, and I was like, well, there you go. Like, because of the way you acted, you got yourself into that situation. The universe is teaching, they're giving you a tell moment, right? It's kind of like this. I was sat there going, yeah, knew that'd happen. And it's not a good thing, right? I'm laughing because it's kind of like, what can you do? What can you do with people like that? You know, except for like watch them and go, yeah. I mean, I could have told you that was going to happen. I did actually try to warn someone about something, and you know, they didn't heed my warning. It's not that I like cursed anyone or anything like that. I would never do that because that's bad karma, right? I don't send people bad energy, because I think whatever you send people, it comes back to you. So I only send people positive energy. And if I can see somebody needs to learn lessons, I ask the universe to teach them the lessons in whatever way the universe needs to do that, right? So yeah, I don't know, we're on this earth to learn lessons, and that's the end of that. Right, take care of yourselves, Libras, and I will play cards close to your chest, guys, and I will see you again soon. Bye, friends.